sensors code. Well, keep watching. I'll show you what to do. So this is the code we keep getting. Every time you clear the code, it comes back almost immediately. You also have extended cranking periods, or it doesn't want to start at all. We're going to go ahead and just replace the intake camshaft position sensor and the exhaust camshaft position sensor, just for safe measure, but it's most than likely the intake one that's bad. So keep watching, and we'll show you what to do. So basically just want to kind of show you guys how things work before I go any further. So this is a 12 volt reference to your cam sensor. This is a signal wire, and this is your ECM controlled ground. So your 12 volt or 5.5 goes to your crank sensor, your cam sensor, and then you have a signal that comes out of this and goes to your ECM. That's what this is. If you don't have a correct signal, it kind of looks like this, or you won't have anything at all. And this is with like an oscilloscope or like a lab scope or anything like that. That's what kind of signal you're gonna get with a lab scope. So the ECM controls the ground portion of your sensor, which causes this to switch on and off. So that's telling it what kind of signal you're getting out of it, and so you can get your signal through your signal wire. And so it picks up these humps here off your cam sensor. So when it picks off the signal of the cam sensor, it makes a different wave. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, and that's just the humps or the segments that it has here on your reluctor ring on your cam sensor. The other thing is, so if you have an intermittent problem with it, usually it's like a heat soak with like a crank sensor. With a cam sensor, it's about the same too. You have a heat soak, it won't run, and then after it cools off, then it'll start right up, and you won't have the issue. That's because this here is a metal rod that's wrapped in metal, and the metal gets hot and it expands and goes away. So if you replace this, then it won't expand anymore, and you won't have that issue. So it's just basically a heat issue. So I hope this kind of helps, and here's the rest of the video. First thing you want to do is you want to take your air filter box off, and you want to take off this 2 9mm bolts, push this clip down, take the these clips out here, and unscrew your hose clamp. Your sensor's here behind your alternator, so just look back there where my finger is, push down that clip, and your harness goes up to the back of this oil sensor up here. So you want to unscrew that oil pressure sensor right there. So now that it's unscrewed a little bit, you want to push your connector out. And you want to use a big crescent in order to loosen it up. And be careful with your plastic hose, because it will break. So now that you got your sensor loose, it's a 5mm Allen. Pull that out, be careful, and it should pull out towards you. And this is the parts number for the sensor that we're replacing. And you want to make sure that you put your O-ring back on there, or make sure it has an O-ring when you put it in there. This is your oil sender. Make sure there's O-rings on here. If it's cracked, broken, or anything like that, you're going to have a huge mess. You want to make sure that's okay. This is the wrench that you're going to need to tighten it back up. And this is the sensor for the exhaust side. It's a 5mm Allen. And you just want to press on the side of the clip in order to get the clip off. There's 2 little tabs. Press on each side and pull. And it should come out. Make sure that O-ring goes back on. If you don't, you're going to have a huge mess. And it's just a 5mm Allen, just like everything else, in order to take it out. And this is the part number and what the sensor looks like. When you're tightening these Allen bolts, you want to make sure you just do it snug. You don't want to do over tight. You will break your sensor. You'll snap the bolt off because it's a small bolt. You just want to do a little bit of snugging. YouTube, so I've replaced the sensors and I cleared the code, and it's been running for a little bit now, and it hasn't had any issues. Check engine light has came back on, so I think I got it fixed. So hopefully what I did was helpful with your job. Just let me know in the comments below if you have any questions, anything you need answered. Thanks for watching, and like always, just like and subscribe if you like my videos. I'm always putting out new stuff and trying to make it as easy as possible for you.